It's time for today's Faceoff on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Faceoff on Fox Soul starts right now.
Area stop on the Keith Lee and family food tour is officially over prematurely, and we're gonna get straight into it. Let's talk about it. There are a few reasons why, as a family, we decided to end the food tour short. But before I get to that, I truly want to say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single bit of love. The people of the Bay were absolutely amazing, and I'll never forget the hospitality and the love that y'all showed me. Reason number one, I truly don't believe the Bay is a place for tourists right now, and that's what I was, a tourist. The people in the Bay are just focused on surviving. That's the business owners, the locals. The amount of tents and living structures and burnt up cars that we saw people living in was shocking to say the least. Before we went, people was comparing it to Gotham City. Now, I might not agree, but I understand where it's coming from. But I can't harp on.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, well-known food critic Keith Lee went to the Bay Area and had, in his opinion, a very terrible experience. He felt the experience that him and those that were with him, his family, was not a place that was conducive for tourists, that tourists should not come to the Bay Area and frequent the restaurants in the Bay Area. He was very critical of a lot of the establishments, the quality of the service, quality of the food. He even said he got sick eating at one place after asking them how they prepared the dish, and they told him he would do it one way and did it completely the way he asked them not to. He got sick, allergic reaction, etc. But he spoke so harsh about the Bay Area. And what bothers me about it, in all honesty, Charles, is that Keith Lee should have got a sponsor in those cities in the Bay Area who know the neighborhoods, who know the restaurants, who even may know some of the people who live in those areas who have the mom and pop restaurants. He has done a lot of good across America helping mom and pop restaurants who are about to close their doors, keep their doors open. But now the way he went in and criticized the Bay Area, even in that critique, he didn't say anything good about the restaurants. He didn't say anything good about any of the establishments that would encourage people that maybe you can go there, feel safe, and enjoy a meal. I just believe he could have did this a little bit better in the way he went about it, just up and leaving, having a very negative experience. Many cities in America are just struggling to survive. He said the people in the Bay Area are in survival mode. Well, Brother Lee, many people in America in major cities are in survival mode, but that does not justify you pointing out such harshly about his critique and its problems and not willing to work with them to help tourists come in and build those restaurants.
That was such an absolutely absurd take. I can't believe that was coming out of your damn mouth. First of all, Keith Lee is not just a TikTok food critic. He's a family man, and he's a former MMA fighter of some note, right? So he's not somebody that's going to go in somewhere and get scared or intimidated. You know what Keith Lee didn't do? Keith Lee didn't go out there and condemn the restaurants he went to and had a bad experience. He didn't condemn the city. In fact, he dialed it back when he got a little pushback, which I thought was unnecessary, because I spent a lot of time out there in the Bay Area. I have family and business interests out there, and I will tell you, it's insane. I sent my wife and son to an Oakland A's game this summer because that stadium's going to close when they move to Vegas. And my son sent me a video in the back of the Uber coming out of there, and it looked like a damn war zone. Open fires, everything tore up, tents everywhere. You going to Oakland, you going to San Francisco, it's absolutely damn terrifying. And it's terrifying not because Keith Lee said, hey, this isn't fit for tourists. It's terrifying because far left liberalism, defund the policers instead of fix the policing or correct policing, have led to this paradigm in San Francisco where people don't do
Policing
crap about crime. It's
do with the
insane.
homeless
It
problem
has
in California.
everything to do
Not
with the
policing.
problem.
Not
Everything.
policing.
When you
Because
tell
when
people
you have a homeless problem, you can't
can
use
take
police
a
to fix that
dump on
problem.
the street, when you tell people you can, yeah, San
I'm from
Francisco,
California.
hold on, San Francisco just was looking at passing a local ordinance to prevent shopkeepers from using any physical force to stop thieves.
And there's another reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason.
There's an
because
insurance
the
reason for
security
that.
guard shot a
There's an
trans man
insurance
that
reason for
attacked
that.
him. It's absolutely
There's a lawsuit
insane.
reason to do that.
It's absolute. Well, you know what? You know what judges should be doing when some criminal goes crying about getting tackled? They should be. You know what? You deserve to get tackled. Get your ass out of court. And that's what San Francisco needs. San Francisco needs some leadership instead of this
How could
kumbaya,
Keith Lee
hug
go?
everybody.
How could
Good
he go
for
to
Keith Lee.
California to the Bay Area and not do his homework before he went.
He did his homework. How do you know he didn't?
Had he done his homework,
it's a damn war zone.
Had he done his homework, Charles, he would have known what was the problems before he ever got there. Charles, I'm from California, and I hadn't been to L.A.
Yeah,
I hadn't been to L.A. in many years.
When was the last time you lived there?
And I went back. Hold on.
70s?
Let me finish. I hadn't been to L.A. since the 90s, and I went back with my son.
It was crazy, right?
And I admit, I was shocked.
Right.
I was blown away.
Much like Keith Lee in San Francisco.
I had no idea the homeless problem was at the magnitude that it is. I literally saw homeless people go on a sidewalk in front of big, beautiful homes in affluent neighborhoods, set up a tent, and move in right there because the sidewalk is considered public property. It's not private property. So they can't make a move. And so these people are out there with buckets and just doodling in buckets in front of multi-million-dollar homes, and the homeowners can't do anything because the sidewalk is public property. Now, Governor Newsom, city officials have failed to deal with the problem of homelessness in California. But I also learned this, Charles. Do you know when homelessness exploded in California? During COVID. Because all of the shelters, let me finish.
But you're lying.
All of the shelters shut down across the country in cold weather states. There were no shelters to go to. So they told the homeless people, go to California where there's nice warm weather and the weather would not cause you problems living in California. So they fled from the northern states, the Midwestern states, fleeing the cold winters and went to California. It exploded. But California has done more to exacerbate the problem than fix the problem. Keith Lee, I believe, could have done it a little bit better with doing more homework for going into the city. And I believe that the brother could have got sponsors in every little Bay Area city he went to help him go to the right spots and be treated a lot better.
Absolutely. First of all, Keith Lee is doing a wonderful job painting beautiful and accurate portraits of the food scenes in cities all across this country. And instead of criticizing him, you should be listening to his sage warning. And yes, COVID situation exacerbated homelessness, but it's been an out-of-control problem in California, especially the Bay Area, for years. And the root of it is the fact that the police don't do anything about theft, about robbery, about defecating in public, about fornicating on city. When you talk about sidewalks, right, you know what it is a crime? It's a crime to obstruct the sidewalk, because if someone's in a wheelchair or someone's walking, and an old lady on a walker wanting to walk down the sidewalk, they shouldn't have to step over buckets and turds. If you have police that do their damn job, that aren't listening to a bunch of whiny liberals saying, and here's who suffers the most. Who suffers the most? Of course there are. And they don't fight real crime. And who suffers the most? And this was at all these fake police reformers, all these people who've tried to turn police reform into a business that puts money in their damn pockets so they can buy mansions all over the country. I'm talking about the three leadership of Black Lives Matter who just stole billions of dollars instead of doing anything for the black families that suffered from unfair police or criminal police violence. The truth is, it's just a business and no one's fixing crap. And you want to talk about fixing crap? Let's make police for the first time.
Have anything to do with
it has everything to do. Here's the thing, because they took millions of dollars and they stuck it in their pockets. No, I am mixing, because Keith Lee is doing a great job going around this. No, he's right about San Francisco not being fit for consumption right now.
Himself better prepared to deal with the Bay Area.
You know what could be doing something more? You know what could be doing something? The leadership of San Francisco could be doing something to make that city safe, but they don't care.
The leadership of America got a whole lot of problems they can't fix.
Black people of color, just like the leadership of Black Lives Matter used all these poor black people suffering to raise hundreds of millions of dollars,
black folks didn't build the ghetto.
Stuck it in their pocket and didn't do a damn thing.
Somebody stuck us in the ghetto. Remember that.
Look, what are you talking about?
And they sure as hell don't look like me.
The glory I receive, it's His grace, not a perfect me. We are at a time in history, people. Hear me on this. We are at a time in history when you can no longer sit back and just let other folks do. You cannot expect black women to be perfect and save the world.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Cornell, that was a brief clip of Fulton County, Georgia prosecutor Fannie Willis getting up in the pulpit of a Christian church and explaining that she shouldn't be held accountable for diverting hundreds of thousands of public monies to her boyfriend. She has the audacity just this last week to blame her alleged boyfriend's wife of interfering with her prosecution. Now, I think the prosecution should move forward. You've had several pleas. It's the RICO prosecution of Trump and his henchmen about interfering with the election in Georgia. It's got a very unique and very special interference statute. I don't think the federal prosecutions, I think they're completely empty, right? I think the January 6th stuff and the Florida file stuff is a bunch of nonsense by Jack Smith, who is basically persecuting the former president. But Fannie Willis's prosecution, from a lawyer perspective, has legs. And it shouldn't end just because she's absolutely corrupt. But the audacity of this woman to prosecute Trump for this, while at the same time basically acknowledging that she gave her boyfriend, and she hasn't admitted he's a boyfriend, but she hasn't denied it either, almost $700,000 for a couple of years of salary for a prosecution he has no experience in. This was a personal injury lawyer, and he took that money to take her on vacation and everything. I don't know a prosecutor making $350,000 a year. This is exactly what many people have accused both Biden and Trump of. This is taking taxpayer money and misappropriating it for some nonsense, and she should be in handcuffs alongside of Donald Trump, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So Joe Biden, all three of them should be in handcuffs, and it's absolutely ridiculous that she got on a pulpit and said, oh, well, her crime shouldn't be a crime because she's a black woman. It's nonsense. Every politician who's corrupt should be held to account. Now let's hear why she shouldn't, because I know she's black, so you're on her team.
Let me say this. It's obviously you're all in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor.
Okay, well, I prefer cherry Kool-Aid.
But let me help you.
I prefer cherry.
Mr. White man, let me help you.
Yeah, I mean, I like cherry
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
These charges should be dismissed.
And you got to put that sugar.
These charges should be dismissed. She ain't been charged.
The president's charging hers because she ain't been charged with crap.
Against Donald Trump, it should be dismissed at the worst. But at the very least, what she should do.
Why do you think
Let me
they should?
state
Why?
that, because you keep cutting me off, Mr. White man. I'll listen to you. Now, the problem here is her office is in charge of prosecuting the former president. And now it comes out that the lead prosecutor that you appointed to prosecute the president is your undercover boyfriend that you're having an affair with, that is still a married man going through a divorce. And not only did you do that, he has no prosecutorial experience, but yet he's going to prosecute the biggest damn person your office has ever prosecuted. Right. With the best lawyers on the planet, you're going to give that leadership role to your boyfriend who's never prosecuted anybody, and then give him a salary that is undeserving based on his qualifications as a criminal prosecutor. Then you turn around, Miss Fannie, and go on vacations with the same money you paid this man. That's misuse of taxpayers' funds.
So you agree she should go to jail?
She first should hand the case off. Let me finish. She should first hand the case off to a different prosecutor. That's one. Two, she should remove the boyfriend as being the lead prosecutor, and the taxpayer should demand it in Georgia because the man ain't never prosecuted a damn case in his life. So this is nothing but a setup to free Donald Trump. How you gonna have Donald Trump be prosecuted with the best defense lawyers in the country that money can buy? You gonna pick somebody to prosecute him who ain't never prosecuted a case? That means you try to let Donald Trump go. So she should absolutely appoint a new prosecutor in her office, but ultimately, for transparency's sake, remove the whole case from her district office and give it to somebody else, a special prosecutor with experience to prosecute Trump in this case. Because you cannot prosecute Trump for corruption in the very office where now you admitting that you've done corrupt things involving a prosecutor appointed to the case. That's your undercover boyfriend and misuse of funds.
Cut to the chase. All right, she got up at the pulpit and said that she should be given a second chance because she's a black woman. No other substance to anything. She didn't even get into the details. And the fact is, her skin color shouldn't bear at all, or Trump's skin color, or anybody's skin color, shouldn't bear at all on whether or not they get indicted and charged with a crime. You don't think Georgia should get their damn money back? You don't think the taxpayers should put her in prison?
Her statement of what bothered me, Charles.
I don't want to hear it. Do you think Fannie Willis should go to prison?
When she said this, that we cannot expect black women to save the world. Stop right there. Let me tell you something. dear sister, Miss Willis, you are not Coretta Scott King. You are not Harriet Tubman. You are not Betty Shabazz. You are not the black women that fought, bled, and died and sacrificed their entire families and their husbands to move this country forward and fight for saving the black community. So stop comparing yourself to the great heroes of black women in this nation like Fannie Lou Hamer and others who paid the ultimate price just because you got caught with your damn boyfriend. Don't compare yourself to those women.
She's a black woman. And she's a public
I wouldn't give a damn if she was a green woman.
So do you
she has never paid the price like the great women she's trying to indirectly compare herself to.
In charge of the misappropriation of public funds.
I believe in this case, yes.
Wow. Hey, so I was right.
Case, yes.
Okay, I agree.
So now, how can a crook prosecute a crook?
Well, we see it all the time, right? Well, you see Joe Biden behind all these prosecutions and Donald Trump to keep him off the ballot. And hey, don't mistake, you're the Trumper, not me. But I will say that it's repugnant. What I mean, and so I'm shocked that we agree.
You white folks
but
just lie
it's
to
always
people,
about
right in front of people's
come
face.
on, you love Donald Trump.
Just
come on,
lie.
come on.
Look at you.
Hey, why are you lying to the camera?
I'm
come
not
on.
lying.
You
Let
off
me tell
camera.
the camera.
You got a red hat over
I
there.
have to
there is a
demand
red hat
that
sitting
this
right
man
over there.
leave that
it
hood
says,
in the car every time he
Make America
come.
great again. Right, but the truth is, before we got
That's
out
a
here,
Trump supporter
you were
right
all
there.
sticking up for Fannie Willis. You called her Sister Willis. But the truth
Sister
is,
Willis
she's a
comparing
criminal.
herself to
Trump's
women she
a
should compare
criminal.
herself to.
Biden's a criminal. All these corrupt politicians, click, click, prison.
I'm Dr. Peter Smolowitz, Chief Medical Officer at Milford Regional Medical Center. Milford Regional Medical Center is committed to providing exceptional healthcare services to our community with dignity, compassion, and respect. Everyone should expect a safe, caring, and inclusive environment in all our spaces. Our patient and visitor code of conduct helps us meet this goal. Words or actions that are disrespectful, racist, discriminatory, hostile, or harassing are not welcome.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Well, Charles, there's a very interesting story about a courageous hospital in Massachusetts that has instituted a policy that racists and bigots are not welcome. And if you come to the hospital and they discover you are a racist and a bigot, they will turn you away and not give you service. So now if a skinhead comes that don't like Negroes and he has a broken leg, you won't get your leg fixed there, partner. And so if a Klan member, by God's grace and God's blessings, happen to get into a car wreck and he's about to bleed out, and he goes to this hospital here in Massachusetts, they gonna tell him, go back in the parking lot and you can die right there. I think that is a wonderful policy for that hospital. No more bigots accepted, no more haters accepted. Keep your racism and your bigotry away from this hospital because too many black doctors have been the victims of racist individuals come to the hospital spewing racist venom and racial slurs toward them because they're black doctors and don't deserve it. There's been horror stories of black nurses for generations talk about how racist white people sometimes would spit on them because they were black nurses and say to their face, we don't want no niggas in here working on my mama, working on my daddy, or delivering my baby. This has been going on for generations, but this courageous hospital has now said to the bigots, you can't come here and get no medical treatment or medical service with your racist, rusty, raggedy behinds. I ain't got no problem with that. What's wrong
First
with
of all, I don't think they said they're going to let somebody bleed to death, but they did indicate that they would deny care and deny patients who evidenced that they have discriminatory ideas. Now, do you think that mental health, do you think that's a legitimate medical condition?
Yes.
So if a crazy person says crazy stuff, they shouldn't get treatment.
He said racist.
All right. Well, discriminatory. He talked. If you watch the whole video, first of all, I've never heard of Massachusetts, but Massachusetts is very far left, right? And they would disagree with you on a number of your positions about the LGBT community, and you think
he said
that
nothing about the LGBT community.
Yes, he did. You watched the whole
Not
video.
the clip I just
know
watched.
that. But if
was
you
enough for
go in
me.
there and say gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married, you think they should turn you down for your treatments?
Well, that wouldn't be bigotry.
Well, that's the bigotry
They
talks
mean
about.
racial
There's-
slurs,
No. See, you want to
homophobic
distill
slurs,
everything to
homophobic
just
attacks,
white people,
not
just
a
white
political
people.
opinion
so if you,
about civil
that's
unions and gay
absolutely
marriage.
not true.
It's about
that's
homophobic slurs.
absolutely not
and if
true.
you do that, you shouldn't get no treatment.
At the end of the day, if you present yourself to a hospital and you're dying, you should absolutely get care, no matter whether you got a swastika tattooed on your chest, or you're a black supremacist or a white supremacist, or
Let
any kind
that
of
damn racist die.
If you're a homophobe, I think you know what? I disagree with your
You
homophobia.
show up with a swastika,
but you should
let him die right there in the lobby.
Absolutely should. It's a Hippocratic
America
oath.
is better without him.
Do no harm, and that would be harming the person. And
Harming who?
doctors, look.
That would be
we
justice.
don't need to infect the administration of medical aid with far left orthodoxy and ideology that says everyone must agree.
I know what you're afraid about.
No, well, you know what you're.
That if you got to go to the hospital, they're not going to treat you in the institutions.
Here's the thing. You are the one.
If you go down there, they're going to turn you away.
You are the one.
That's what you're
not
worried about.
Me. You are the one
Don't worry,
that
Charles.
loves to talk about
when you need that defibrillator machine,
holistically.
I'll hold it for you.
You'll hold it for
when
me,
you
right?
need that, put it on your chest, and that shock treatment, I'll hold it for you.
At the end of the day, the only person
that
that sits in and looks into this camera and says things holistically denigrating people of one complexion is you. And your constant demonization of white people holistically. So it shocks me that you love to piss and moan about racism so much, but you also love racism so much.
Heart. Why
Bless
would you
my
be
heart.
so confused about me?
If someone that's if
you're
in a car wreck,
I do.
If you're in a car wreck,
I love you, good white folk, Charles. As much as you love
and
me,
you show up,
and only you know.
And they put one of your old face-off clips on talking about gay people, and they say, no, he don't like gay people, put him back on the curb. You okay with that?
They're not going to do that.
Why not?
Because the black gay brother going to bring me in and give me some treatment.
Okay.
Because the black gay brother know this for a fact.
So it only should be for white
oppression
people.
is greater for black people than gay people.
It should only be a rule that
And
if a
imagine
white
being
person,
gay and black in America.
if a white person says something bad, throw him out to die.
Look,
but if a black person says something racist, oh, well,
I didn't
never
say
mind.
that.
You did. You just said it.
I said if the victim speaks the truth, which would be a black person, about some racist bigot,
so what about
well, then let them get some treatment.
What about all the people you're bigoted
But the
against?
so-called mental health crazy white boy who hate all Negroes and want to make that known, let his ass die right there in the parking lot. I ain't got no problem with that.
if a black supremacist comes in there and says they hate white people,
what is black supremacy?
There's somebody that believes black people are superior to other races, just like white supremacy or Asian supremacy
so a black
or whatever.
person who suffers the reverse effects of white supremacy, you mean?
I just mean a bigot and a racist, right? But it happens not to be a white racist, and it says racist stuff. You think he should be treated? So the rules should only apply to white heterosexual people?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so
because you got some racist white women too.
Okay.
All them damn racist Karens, let her come on up in there too.
So
and when
just
she start
white
talking
people.
that foolishness,
so you want a
right
rule
back out the door.
That's just for white people?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so who else?
You got racist Asians too.
Oh, okay, just not black people.
You
black
got some
people,
racist Latinos.
Black people can say whatever
like
the
Ted
hell
Cruz.
they want.
Like Ted Cruz.
So black people
And then,
can say,
oh no, wait a minute. You got some racist black folks like Clarence Thomas in the Supreme Court.
Okay.
If that Negro show up who needs some medical treatment, send him right back out the door too.
If a conservative Republican black person shows up, you can let him die.
I didn't say that.
But if a black person hates white
but
people,
if Herschel Walker showed up at that hospital, turn him around.
I get it. I get it. You love Donald Trump.
Because he Uncle Ruckus,
you love
he
Donald
Chicken
Trump,
George, he Fitler, and all the rest of the sellouts.
Okay, but that
so if
sounds,
Herschel Walker show up, send him back out there with him
So
too.
that kind of sounds like bigotry. So they should
How
be
is that? You and I both know Herschel Walker hates himself for being black.
So what you're saying is that
Clarence Thomas hates himself for being black.
What you're saying is
he
we
married
need a
that big
rule.
old tall white lady. Have you see her? She about 6'5". He about
We
5'8".
we need
he got to
a
get him a
rule.
footstool to get him some sugar. Yeah, look, let me tell you something.
You want a rule that just applies to white people,
I
just
did not
denies
say
care
that.
to white people that
I'm
have
not
bigoted
saying that.
ideas.
All
but you,
bigots should be turned away.
Oh, all bigots,
Yes.
right? So you should be turned away.
Oh no, they're gonna treat me.
Well, hi.
Now your old behind. I know what they're gonna do with you.
You don't like white people.
God damn it, you ain't
don't
gonna make
like
a pass
gay
emergency
people.
room.
You don't like
they
white
won't even
people.
take your temperature.
You don't like white people. You don't like gay people.
You know I
That's
love
quantum.
y'all, man. You know I love y'all.
I was shocked when I saw the full clip of Milford Regional because it was informed by far left orthodoxy that basically said that if you dislike anyone based on an immutable characteristic, you got to go. And I don't think that's what medical care should do. In fact, more importantly, a great number of people that have hate-filled hearts, it's because they're crazy-ass, bipolar, stupid people, but they still need medical treatment. Then we shouldn't put politics in place. Now, it's very different if you're being abusive or harmful to one of the staff, but just saying ugly stuff, still get them the care. Fannie Willis, getting on a pulpit in a Christian church and saying, hey, the rules I'm applying to the former president shouldn't apply to me because I'm a black woman is absolutely wrong. If she diverted hundreds of thousands of dollars of Fulton County taxpayers, African American taxpayers, so her and her boyfriend can go off to a Caribbean island and run around on his wife, well, it's a real damn problem. And she should end up in cuffs, just like the former president.
Let me start with the Georgia DA, Ms. Willis. I am totally disappointed and just totally disgraced and ashamed that you, as a sitting prosecutor, would allow a man who is your boy toy to conduct himself as a prosecutor, to prosecute the most powerful person in the country, the former president, who have the best lawyers that money can buy, a prosecutor who's never prosecuted a case. But he only gets that prestigious right as a criminal prosecutor in that particular case because he's your boy toy, he's your boyfriend. That's wrong. Then to take the taxpayers' money and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay him a salary he does not deserve, not even qualified for. Then he takes the same money, y'all go party with it on multiple vacations, and then you want to blame that on racism and say as a black woman, you cannot be expected for us to save the world. You are not Coretta Scott King. You're not Malcolm X's wife. You're not Harriet Tubman, the great freedom fighter of this country. You're not the great Shiros who paid the ultimate price of this nation.
Man,
Stop
I am
comparing
glad you
yourself
didn't
to
have
them.
nothing to say about Keith Lee because you were sure hating on Keith Lee, and I am glad you did.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.